In today's video, we're going to share with you the secrets of Amazon supply chain and logistics. So with Eric, we crunched the data for the last 25 years, and we're going to reveal to you the principles. How did they scale so fast and so big the last 25 years with the infrastructures? We have a big map and all the data we're going to share with you that represent the size of the region of Paris today, all the standardized process, all they automate everything with all the robots. They have a new method called the random is the new order, and also the slam process. So we're going to reveal a lot of tools and methods, and we're going to finish with all the forecast more accurately to plan this gigantic company in the world. Don't forget, you can download the PowerPoint below the video, and let's go.
Hello everybody, I'm Eric and I'm the Chief Operation Officer at AbcSupplyChain. And today, before we jump into the detail of Amazon and how they did it, well, how we did it, how we made that presentation possible, well, we used artificial intelligence by downloading all the annual reports, the shareholder letters from Amazon press release, and putting them into a GPT on ChatGPT. So that way we could ask GPT to analyze all that data and be sure that our presentation was coming mainly from trusted source, which was Amazon itself. So it was a good way for us to crunch to it and give you the best insight and information as possible, as we can see. And it all started in 95, and just 2 years after there was the IPO, but it started in 95. That was the first Amazon office building, and the UI, let's say, of that time on internet was very basic. This is the first page of Amazon, and they were already claiming big with talking about 1 million titles already on Amazon. So that was crazy, and it was just a bad book. But today, this has been a behemoth. This is now a company that you can find on many directions, many verticals, many products, from the cloud system with AWS to the very well-known shopping platform we all know, to media, to augmented capacity for your house with ring bells, and even shopping, automation, delivery. It's everywhere. And if you look at that story, it's been a crazy story. Starting in 97 with the IPO, well, Amazon has introduced over time so many products that have changed our lives and that have been on that have been common words since then. Let's take the example of the Kindle. Now, a Kindle is a very common word to say it's an electronic book, and so they introduced those e-readers, increased their market on so many verticals. The Amazon Prime as well. Are you an Amazon Prime member? Everybody has an Amazon Prime account almost in their house because it makes things so convenient. The Alexa has been so famous as well. It's been like with Siri from Apple, the Alexa has entered our life. And now we've got like the business keep growing with more B2B business, Amazon Care going into healthcare, cloud gaming, physical retail, which is just going everywhere. So this is an incredible story that have been made, although by acquisition, and the size of this acquisition of the 25 years is quite crazy. Like, they went into everything that was missing for them and they built it, yes, but at the same time they weren't chasing what was the best out there to speed up their growth. In technical innovation and automation, they were looking at how our logistic and fulfillment capabilities just go faster, and they invested 2.5 billion in this. They were looking to expand into the market 18 billion, so they could position their industry beyond e-commerce. They wanted to create a smart ecosystem. Well, why? Well, just so you can control the home experience and drive the customer loyalty. Hey Alex, buy me this. Well, it's way better if you control that end-to-end purchasing process. So why not having a smart home that does it for you? 2.5 billion. And then the customer-centric strategy, 1.5 billion. How can we enhance customer? And then the content entertainment for staggering 10 billion, so they could go chase giants such as Netflix, Disney Plus, and Spotify. A total of 35 billion that they've spent into acquiring the right technology and the right business. And this paid off because now Amazon revenue share by 2023 was $770 billion. And a lot of people think that, yeah, it's because they do now the video content, it's because they have AWS, but no, it's still relying on retail. 68% of that revenue is driven by online physical third-party retail, which means that goods has to come from someplace to you. And this is still, this require a gigantic logistic that we'll discuss later in that presentation. Now, if we focus on that Amazon retail, so online, physical, third party, and how it grew over time in billion, well, you can see that it's just like skyrocketed, and we've got that that very crazy curve, exponential growth. And what's interesting in there is that everything they've been endeavoring so far has been growing at that pace. We could see that the physical store, well, maybe they have started the wrong time, right before COVID, where everything was a bit crunched, and so this has made the growth of the physical retail going like slower, but if they apply the same logic to the rest of what they do, we could expect that red part just to grow as the rest. What is interesting if we talk about this number, yes, there are some of the big companies around the world, the Teslas, the Microsoft, the Apples, and all these companies, they have quite big revenue playing in the same field pretty much. Tesla 80 billion, Microsoft 227 billion, and I'm talking about the retail, not the cloud, because Microsoft and Apple, they have of the services in there. But what's interesting is the number of SKU of product they manage, and this is where Amazon has been really good. Tesla under 100 under 100 product. Microsoft under 1,000, Apple under 500, and it keeps going like that. Maybe LVMH has a more product because they're in the fashion, and we have an excellent YouTube video on our channel as well, English, to explain what's going on in there in LVMH. And then Walmart would be the only one competing with Amazon in terms of the number of SKU, which means the tens of million. But Amazon is not even in the 10 of million, they're in the hundreds of million, with 300 million SKUs available on their platform. It's like, it's a giant for that, and this is where operation has been super important, because if you look at a company that had made 2,000 times its market capitalization in 25 years, 2,500 times its retail revenue in 25 years, with 300 million SKU available online, this is just a nightmare of complexity that required certain core concepts that we're going to deep dive in. The concept they've applied has been to scale logistic, to automate their fulfillment, and to be good on forecasting the demand. Remember that. This is the core thing of what Amazon has been doing. You scale your logistic, you automate it, you forecast, so you're not surprised by what's going to happen, and most importantly, you put the right product in front of the right person at the right time. This is the core of the retail business of Amazon. This is why it's so important. But let's talk first. Scaling the logistic has happened at Amazon based on three pillars. New ways of working. They've been working in a different way as any other company. The ownership of the infrastructure. They don't go and get like subcontractor doing the job for them. They do it themselves. And then the standardized process. Amazon here is the same as Amazon there. How do they achieve that? Let's jump into it. Well, new ways of working. We're not competitor obsessed, we're customer obsessed. That was Jeff Bezos has been saying, and the new ways of working has been translating this, because today's head count, Amazon has 1.5 million people who work at Amazon, and the head count was 600 people in 97, so this is staggering. How 1.5 million is as big as all these cities you can see: Kobe in Japan, Munich in Germany, Adelaide in Australia, or Bucharest in Romania. So this is just a staggering number of people working there. And if how would you manage those 1.5 million? How do you do that? How can you manage these people? I don't know if you manage a team yourself, but this is a critical point. Well, how can you go further on that? And this is where they've introduced the leadership principle. The leadership principles are 12 principles that pretty much drives the core of and the philosophy of Amazon. So you always obey by this principle, and pretty much what do you what are you going to with those principles is the customer obsession, things such as ownership, earn trust, invest and simplify, and we're going to see how much they invest to deliver result. You think big, and this is another thing that defines very well Amazon. So this Amazon leadership principle has been so important to the growth, and you can watch all of them on Amazon website. So we highly recommend that you do that, because there is a lot of learning in there. There is also something that where they want to cut the BS, the bullshit, and they did that with the narrative. The narrative replaced PowerPoint around the early 2000s, and this was like tremendous, because at that time some companies were not even working with PowerPoint yet, but Amazon was already replacing them with the 6-page memo format that became the new standard. So when you go in a meeting, you have to do a silent reading of the memo. Why do you do that? Well, because of course you know that everybody has received the memo, but nobody has read the memo. So you want to be sure that people read it, and then they can do a deeper thinking of it, and they can make informed discussions. This is where it begins, because you have done that reading, and you can ask clarification, question, give some critical feedback and analysis, and this is where everybody's on the same page, the questions have been answered, and then you can work into a collaborative problem solving. So the decision is made based on the memo, and then there is a data-driven focus to find the solution. Bye PowerPoint. This is explaining, this is a good insight of how they've made the change, like pretty much to cut the bullshit. Be sure like you're not producing things or making decisions that are not like informed, and that's very interesting. Then comes the infrastructure ownership. Well, yes, it was been a big part of the strategy, and as of today, this is a picture of lovely Paris. I'm French myself, and you know what, if you look at all the infrastructure that Amazon has today, and when you think about the thing being you own Paris, the surface that they represent is almost the size of Paris, and globally. So this is a staggering number, but it represents how much footprint Amazon has in the world, and how much they've been investing in developing their capacity, and that's their own. That's not including their third party. So it's to be sure like they control the entire cycle. In 98, this is how they were, like just starting in the US, having a little bit in the UK, because being English book, and then you can see how it grows, and it just went like developing a lot in Europe, developing a lot in the US, but then spreading across the world, going into India, and you can see like the number of different facilities just increase over time, until it was really a global one. And we lacking number on China, Russia, but yeah, this is the minimum picture of what we can see. And it's very interesting, because if you look at what type of facilities they've been creating, well, over time, more and more capacities, such as pharmacy, such as robotics, such as same-day delivery, seasonal delivery, these type of things. So they've been everywhere, and you can see how they've been addressing market, and that a lot of markets still are there. The capabilities, if you look at them over time, how they've been growing this time, well, you see the introduction of robotics very early, and then that famous exponential, everything they've been doing has been exponential. So that famous exponential is just growing and growing and growing, and we're going to deep dive into these capabilities to see which one have made the difference, which one have been important, and what it means for Amazon today. So rely on yourself. Well, this is something that we can learn from what we've discussed before. They rely on themselves. They have a strong footprint. Well, why not having as well all the transportation, all the logistic, and they use very little third-party logistics. 3PL are non-Amazon facilities, so pretty much this is where they use a DHL or whatever, and over time this has been almost non-existent. That's the very first important insight. The second thing was how do you keep control over the last mile? And this is where the investment as well has been staggering with the light and heavy delivery station. The delivery station that are small, that cover the last mile, where the package are sorted and dispatched to local customer for fast delivery. So pretty much this is where everything is sorted so it can be shipped on the last mile. And you can see the growth of that. This is the backbone of what they've been doing. Flying ahead of the competition as well by creating your own airlines, and with airports, air hub, air sortation center, launched in 2017. It has 20 aircraft back then. Now it's 100 in the fleet. I think some of them are leased, some of them are owned by Amazon, and they go in the US more than 250 flights daily and even globally. And they opened their first in Germany in 2020, and it's just going to grow over time. It looks tiny in the chart, but this is some kind. Everybody knows that airport, airplane are some massive investment that you don't play around quickly. It's not the same as opening a warehouse at the corner of the street when you go into creating a hub or air sortation center. And how they've been able to make it as fast. And what happened if you, and what comparing them with UPS and FedEx, just for the sake of the exercise? Well, the delivery time, they're gonna, all the FedEx and the UPS, they're gonna be in favor of overnight delivery. So which means the flight's gonna depart on the evening, it's gonna land during the night, so you're gonna get your parcel by the next day. Well, Amazon and Prime, they're just all about the 2-day delivery. And so because the flight are departing in the morning, they've got way less congested air hub and sortation center for freight. I'm not talking passenger, of course. Passenger will be mostly during the day, but for freight, it's all during the night. And so they can and because they've got the 2 days, they don't have to do so many hop in their flight. They can just go direct regional route, and they don't have to like split very quickly things, and this make the system more efficient. And they use a lot of predictive analysis as well for product placement. So they have sometimes they're going to ship goods not because there is an order associated to them, but because there is a demand that has been forecasted. And this is something as well that is very different, because they're carrying their own product from one place to another, whether all product that are going to sell, whether like the FedEx and the UPS, they're carrying an order, that they're carrying a good that has been ordered, so they don't have they cannot anticipate, and they cannot push the goods closer to you the day before, what Amazon does with their plane, which is very clever. And this approach is better. Well, as I mentioned, less congestion with the morning flight, direct regional routes, handling the time and cost better, and predictive analysis. As I mentioned, place your product closer to the customer. The more you can do that, the more you're going to sell. And they've got as well the fulfillment center. Like, it's all about receiving, stowing, picking, packing, labeling, dispatching. Those fulfillment center I mentioned, like the light sortation center, where the backbones, well, those one are really much the stomach of it. This is where the energy is. And the fulfillment and sortation center, well, the heart, yeah, let's say the heart of Amazon delivery system. And you can see, like, they were ready for COVID because they were already on the rise, and I think the demand for online purchasing during COVID just like exploded, and it was a very interesting time for them, because this is where they exploded as well. And they had all these type of fulfillment center, which basically your order is created. Like, all the goods that exist in the world are pretty much there. We'll see how it is inside later, and someone is just gonna assemble your order to make sure everything is in the parcel that you will receive, and then that parcel is gonna go through the delivery journey. But this is what's happening at the fulfillment and sortation center. And this is it for all the facilities. And the last thing is, when you've got all the facilities, well, how do you standardize all that? How you make sure they all work in sync? This is all based on your process and your standardized process. You couldn't have a fulfillment center in Germany that worked not the same way as a fulfillment center in New Jersey, because that would be a nightmare, because the goods might travel from one to the other, and you just want the way the goods are handled to be exactly the same. And so there are a number of facilities involved in that delivery process, from the receiving center, where goods are received in bulk from the supplier, to fulfillment center, where store where they prepare items for shipment, as we discussed before, and then those sortation center, where the order are already in a parcel, but they need to be sorted to go to the right place. The Amazon area we discussed is just under air transportation, faster delivery, make the product closer to the customer. Delivery station, where the package are sorted for the last mile delivery. And the last mile delivery, you've got Amazon Flex Driver, DSP, electrical vehicles, where it's going to be delivered to the customer location. So from the supplier to the customer, this is the journey. That will be the journey. And now let's discuss each point of that journey, so we understand very well the intricacy of that system and how it's working, and so you can reflect on your own operation and see if you've got it that well mapped. The supplier, of course, everything starts with the supplier. Amazon is manufacturing some of their product now, but you could count that as a supplier from their own operations, and they're going to ship bulk inventory to Amazon receiving center. So these one are just like to handle big amount of goods. The supplier is not going to ship to every fulfillment center. It's more like it's going to ship to a receiving center, and then Amazon is going to ship to each of these fulfillment center based on the need. And they under large order, fast selling products, so things that need constant replenishment. Then the fulfillment center will get those products, and this is where your order arrives. So your order arrives at the fulfillment center, and they're gonna have different type of fulfillment center. The sortable fulfillment center for small to medium sized items. They tend to say everything that is smaller than a microwave goes into the sortable fulfillment center. Then the non-sortable fulfillment center for large and bulky item are the bed for the child, big TV, things like that. And then some specialty and supplemental, well, fashion, shoes, like things having their own specificity, having high volume. Why not having them in a specific fulfillment center, where you know that people, when they do, I don't know, they buy a fashion order, they're not going to add some other things, like it's just going to be about one product. Baby gears, for example, that's a very, very good example of a specialty fulfillment center. Now your order has been fulfilled, which means all the thing you wanted to buy at once have been combined into one parcel, and that goes to sortation center. And the sortation center is going to say, okay, this is all the parcel that the fulfillment center has made. Well, now we need, these one are going to New Jersey, those one are going to Florida, those one are going to Alabama, wherever, and or same in Europe, like where should they go, which region, which city. It's even going to go at more granularity, like regional and city region and city. Yeah. Come the Amazon Air, well, sometime to go from that fulfillment center, that sortation number, why not using air? It's just going to be faster, and this is one of the 250 flights that happen daily globally for Amazon, where, okay, the goods have been prepared in this fulfillment center because they were available there, but we need to ship them closer to you. Let's use the air so we can keep our 2-day delivery promise. And now we're going into the smaller facilities. So there are one thing, the same day delivery center that are offering a very fast delivery. So if you live in a radius of 40 miles of a fulfillment center, why waiting the day after? It could be prepared in the morning, you could get it in the afternoon. Well, that could happen as well. So fulfillment center makes it, goes into the sortation center realize, oh, this is close, this is nearby, let's send it to the same day delivery center. And that it just arrived there, is being dispatched to the last mile delivery, and it comes to you. Where at the delivery station, they're more like the 2-day delivery. And this is where the order are prepped for the last mile as well, but it could the goods could come from a further a longer distance, a different fulfillment center than the one that is nearby. And then comes the customer delivery, the famous last mile, a lot of service. And this is crazy how Amazon has been increasing their footprint on that with the Amazon Locker, with and self-serve pickup, Amazon Flex, of course, we all know that, with the Amazon Prime and Amazon Delivery. And in the US, much more than Europe, you've got so many trucks, so many Amazon Prime van going around. And even Amazon Key, which is an innovation they've introduced. You grant access to trusted, or you trust Amazon to access to your house. There is a camera and there is a connected lock, and the person is just going to enter your house, being recorded by the camera, so nothing can happen. You have control of what's happening. They just close the door, leave the parcel inside, and it reduces a lot the thief that when parcel are left on the carport, pretty much. So that's it. This is how that would be the 2-day promise. Day one, you place an order at Amazon. The order is routed to the fulfillment center, the nearest fulfillment center where the item is stored. The item is picked, packed, labeled for shipment. In the evening, the package is sent to the sortation center. We're still in day one. It's grouped with other package heading from the same region, your region. On the morning, the package is loading into a plane if it has to go into a plane. On an Amazon Air Hub, and it's flown closer to your delivery destination in the afternoon. That's it. Your package is at your delivery station. It's assigned to a local driver, and on the evening, a driver knock at the door, ring the bell, and deliver the package to your doorstep. That is all the operation that make it faster, fastest. This is where they want to be. And to make it happen in your standardized process, in that process that exists everywhere around the world for Amazon end to end, you need to go with automation. So this is where Amazon Robotics comes in play, and automating the fulfillment. This is going to be the second part we're going to dive into after scaling the logistic, after understanding how big their operations are, how standardized they are across the world. Well, let's deep dive into how you automate that, because if you've got big operation but it's slow, you're not going fast, and you're not the fastest, and you can't go faster. So in the automating the fulfillment, well, you need to build an army of robots, and you need to break as well a little bit your mind and think that randomness is the new order. And this is something that has been crazy at Amazon, because, well, we all imagine like a warehouse, well organized, every shelf, we know where everything is, so you can go fast because you know everywhere is. Well, maybe not. Maybe if you just store it as random. And so we're going to see that. And then slam it, which is how do you have maximum automation on the shipping, on the picking, labeling, shipping, so it just flows as fast as possible to increase the number of parcels. And well, this is an Amazon robotics facility. They've got their own facilities where they're building those robots. We're going to discuss about them, but this is how desperate they are about automating things. They need to have those robots, so they even have to control the manufacturing of those robots to be sure they're here. And it was launched in 2012. They acquired Kiva System, and they can now process 400 items per hour versus 100 items per hour when it was done manually. So the robots are all centralized. They use a centralized planning software to make decisions, so they all work in sync as well. And this is where you can understand as well the footprint of Amazon in the cloud system, because they apply it so much for themselves to be sure that all those robots, and we're going to see how it works, all those robots are combining their strength. They're just not helping the human next to them. They're pretty much enhancing what's happening at the warehouse. So is that human versus robot, or is that human plus robot? You could see that, oh, it's a cost-cutting strategy. I'm going to replace human by robot, so it's going to be way cheaper, haha. But not really. If we look at the number of robots versus the employee at Amazon, well, we can see that the number of robots deployed is constantly increasing to like a third of a million robots working at Amazon right now. Those little like pod going around. But you can see at the same time that the number of employees has been constantly rising, and there was a big surge in the number of employees in 2019, 2020, staggering. And you could see that then the ratio, which is now half, so which mean like there is 2 employees for 1 robot. Well, you could see it dipped in 2020 because it's easy. Well, in some way it's easier to scale human because there are more human available around here, but at some point like the robots caught up. So it's really not about replacing them, but it's more that, and we mentioned it before, when you've got 1.5 million people and you're on an exponential, can you really grow exponentially your number of employees forever? Like, it's very complex, so you have to boost that growth, and so you have to find some new ways of doing it, and the robots are the answer for Amazon. There are 2 types of robots: the Tharos, which is more like, and they even have more, but like those are the main 2. The Tharos, which is the pallet lifting, you might have seen that in other company. Like, it's not such a revolution, but it's just help making things faster. And then there are the drive unit, and they lift and move shelf, the pods, to worker, and those one are the very interesting one. So it's no longer shelf to worker, it's now worker to shelf. So the shelf moves, not the worker. And so if you look at how it makes things different, well, an inbound shipment is gonna be received and unpacked, and then a shelf is physically going to come to the person, and that person is going to put the item at random in the shelf. There is a totally random allocation. You just need to be careful about the weight, the balance, so all not the heavy product on one side and it might tip. And it's all centralized in the software, so the software knows exactly where each item has been put. And so, but it looks very random. And then the robot, they're just going to find their way on the warehouse, reading QR code on the floor, and they're just going to position themselves in a pretty random fashion, and it's just going to sit there and wait. And they're going to wait until your order arrives. And when your order arrives, then the right shelf and shelves, even if the items are on different shelves because it's all random, comes to the worker that do the picking. So the worker doesn't have to walk those miles. At some point, people were saying, "Oh, if you work at Amazon, you have to walk so many miles," and now it's no longer true. You stay at your station, and then like shelf after shelf, they come to you, telling you exactly what to pick, where to pick it on the shelf because it knows. You create your order, and it's ready to eat. Like, it's going to go through a few more steps that we're going to see later, but they're going to convert it to outbound parcel for the sortation center. And so this is like real innovation here, because like it's all cloud-based, allocation is random, automation is at its maximum. So this is what it's look like, and those one are for even bigger pods that can carry more weight with those blue box. You can see those 2 types. There is the yellow one that are the most common one, and these one are more advanced, more like research and development at the moment. But this is exactly how automation look like at Amazon. Everything like moves, and everything is like, and then you are at that part where, okay, now you do this random allocation, put them back on the shelf, and the shelf leave their own journey and just travel through the warehouse with those little pod that can lift them. You can see it's lifted from the ground. They lift them from the ground, put them wherever. You've got gigantic warehouse. You can have them even on different level, and that can store like no more alley, no more forklift, so you can store a tremendous amount of things in those warehouses. Once the picking has been done, so all the items for your order are combined together. Okay, so it's ready now to be scan, label, apply, manifest. This is the SLAM process. It's a process that pretty much exists on a lot of delivery company, but as usual, Amazon likes to make it fast. So it's all about automation. The package is going to be scanned. So by scanning it, the conveyor will check the weight. It will say, okay, is the weight of my parcel make sense compared to what should be in my parcel? And if that's the case, then okay, the label is shipped, and the label then is going to be applied automatically. It's to be sure that the parcel can keep flowing through the conveyor. There is not 1 second where the parcel is going to stop for the label to be applied. It's all using pressure, hair pressure. So pretty much there will be a blow of hair that will like push the label to the parcel, to the cardboard, and stick it to the cardboard. It's all water-based, water activated, so to make sure it stick. And then the manifest is printed, confirming the readiness for the shipping, and this is good to go to the outbound logistic. So let's have a look at quickly how operation works at that time. We've talked about those moving. So here we are picking, making sure like the parcels are now ready, it's labeling, sending it, and now it's just going to go through the delivery, so to the sortation center, picked at the sortation center, but the delivery person goes in the delivery car, could be whatever system, and goes to your place. This is a very brief summary, but it gives you an insight of all these processes that Amazon are using. But if you want to go faster, well, what about what's happening before you order? That's the key. What's about all this? Because let's imagine the fulfillment center, all random, perfect. I've got all these like perfect system in place, automation, but I'm missing the right items. So my order arrives, and yeah, okay, the fulfillment center where it arrives cannot hold the 300 million SKUs we've discussed at the beginning. So how there is a very likely chance that it has the item I need, and my order can be fulfilled at such a pace. Well, it's all based on demand forecasting. It's before you order. How do we know what items are compulsory, what SKUs are compulsory in a fulfillment center? It's all based on demand forecasting, and this is where Amazon has been extremely good at forecasting demand, and that will be the third pillar of Amazon's tremendous growth over the past 25 years, is their ability to forecasting demand, because they have data, and because with the right analysis you can keep the right item closer to the customer, and those right item will be different in a different region at a different times. This is what's very important. So how do you ensure that you anticipate all that?
All right, so thank you, Eric. We talk about how to scale, how to automate, and the next pillar is how to forecast more accurately. And I can tell you, Amazon is the best company in the world to forecast. And they forecast with more than 400 millions of products. So to explain to you how it works exactly, we have a new masterclass that I did with Mario. Mario is the Amazon forecasting expert. And we're going to reveal to you how to forecast more accurately with all the secrets from Amazon. So you can check below the video to join this masterclass. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to download the slides, the PowerPoint below the video as well. And we see you later
See you
for another video.